jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world combat sports. Talking way too much, world combat sports. Talking way too much, world combat sports.
Big shout out. Good morning, everyone. WCS on deck once again. You already know. Big Plus Unboxing in the building. What's good with it? Shout out to the supporters. Rocking with the channel, man. Support is much appreciated. One love to everybody. This is not going to be an extensive or long one, but I want to just, do so whatever that was, man. Shit dropped out, but Willie Lowe, what's good? What up? What up? What up? Shout out to Team Bomb Squad in the building. Salute to you, brother. Yeah. Somehow it just dropped out. You know how you start off with certain topics, man. So I wanna talk about the situation. I'm not sure how much y'all heard or didn't hear, but I wanted to respond to Coach L. And no knock on YSM. I fucks with YSM, support him. I'm just responding to, the response, the harsh response that Coach L gave, and I just wanted to brief people that when you hear people speak on certain situations dealing with other fighters, you have to really think to yourself, let me listen to the whole thing. Don't listen to snippets. Don't listen to snippets. Listen to its entirety so you can kind of get an understanding if someone is being critical of someone, why they being critical. Is it just because they don't like them as a fighter and their fighting style? They might be from a different demographic, or, what's bringing them to this conclusion? All right. So I definitely want to respond to what he said. So let's start with Coach L, man, because I want to talk about the whole other situation with Terrence Crawford and David Avanesian, and what I believe, WCS, what I believe about this whole entire situation. You know what I'm saying? It's just my opinion on what I think. and what I found out behind the scenes. We're going to talk about it. So let's go to a video. Once again, this is YSM video, his media, nothing on him. You feel me? But I want y'all to take a listen at him giving his feedback on the Terrence Crawford situation. And then after you listen to him, I'm not going to interrupt. I'm going to let that shit play all the way through. I'm going to try to, rather. And then I'm going to give you my response. And shout out to Hot Grease Chronicles EP 67. Let's get it. Hold on, let me reset because I don't know why you can't hear the link. Hold on for a second. Appreciate letting me know that, dog. You know, this shit dropped out the last minute. What the fuck is going on? Let me know if you can hear the audio now with the video. Let me know you can hear it, Blunt. Can you hear it? Did y'all hear that? Let me know right quick. Did y'all hear that audio just then? Just let me know what's up. Okay, negative. Okay.
So I guess he's trying to get this couple of hours and he's going to go and invest. You know what I mean? And invest in these young bulls that he got because he ain't going nothing. He ain't going no further. He ain't going to fight nobody. He ain't going to do nothing. After Anastasia, what he going to do after that?
What about now? We good? We good?
I don't know. He was in negotiations.
Hold on for a second. What about now?
Now, Gerard Ennis, your fighter, Virgil Ortiz, Keith Thurman are all ranked higher than Avanesian. He seemed to skip over all of them and then do a fight with Avanesian. Is that
Does he deserve criticism?
Yeah, he deserves criticism. You know what I mean? And you know, and he lose a lot of respect for that. You know what I mean? Because people did have respect for him. You know what I mean? You know, like I said, if all for nothing. You know what I mean? You know he got that dog in him. You know what I mean? And he do come to fight. But now you just playing yourself, man. He just like that's just a sucker move right there. You know what I mean? And ain't no real dude, ain't no real nigga gonna really respect him for that. You know what I mean? And they should drop him from the rankings. You know what I mean? And for that pound for pound shit for even doing some shit like that. You know what I mean? Because you got plenty guys out there, you know what I mean, that's in the top. You know what I mean? That you got this guy that ain't nowhere in the top. I don't know if he might in the top 10, top 15. You know what I mean? Some shit like that. You know what I mean? So for him to do that and he getting a pay-per-view and he's on pay-per-view, that don't make no sense, man. You know what I mean? They fucking the fight game up, man. You know what I mean? They want them dudes, they might as well just get out the way. You know what I mean? And let these young lions just go ahead and do, because they willing to fight each other. You know what I mean? They willing to do what they need to do. You know what I mean? And how you expect this to him, Terrence Crawford, how you expect these guys, these young guys that you got over in your stable, Shakur, you got Keyshawn, you got all these dudes over here, how they gonna respect you, dog? You don't respect that. And they ain't gonna respect it. How can you, you know what I mean? You probably think you know what I mean? You ain't giving them nothing to look up to. You know what I mean? Because that's a sucker route. You turn these guys and they start being like you. You got Shakur over there that's asking for anybody, that's fighting anybody, that want anybody. You know what I mean? So now, you know what I mean? How could he go under you, or how could he look up to you when you sitting there ducking and dodging? I mean, how could he respect you for that? You know what I mean? You can't respect no joker like that, man.
Do you think Jaron Ennis and Earl Spence would have gotten flack if they chose David Adnesian as an opponent?
Yeah, hell yeah. You know what I mean? If Earl Spence would have fought that bull, they would have dropped him, they would have talked crazy about him, they would have went off on him. You know what I mean? They would have went off on him. You know what I mean? And it don't make no sense. You know what I mean? This bull done been in a car accident, he done did all this shit, he come right back, he fought Danny. You know what I mean? He coming right back after this motherfucker still ain't been in nothing, and still ain't fighting nobody. He fighting fucking what's the joker name? Porter. You know what I mean? He ain't no fucking, you know what I mean? He ain't no fucking, he a dog, but he right in front of you. You know, and then that shit was a fake fight anyway. That shit, they ain't supposed to stop that shit. I'm telling you, man, that shit bullshit. All that shit he doing, you know what I mean, is made up. You know what I mean? All that shit is made up. I told people, I never liked Terrence Crawford. I never liked him. I'm telling you.
That is. So I had no problem, you know, because I always check out everybody's stuff. And once again, this is no knock on YSM. He is the media voice. You know what I'm saying? He is the interviewer. But that doesn't mean I can't react to who he's interviewing. So Coach L goes all the way through this gauntlet talking about how Terrence Crawford is, you know, that's a sucker move and he's messing up boxing. No, it's not even close. He's messing up boxing. Then you mentioned the stable, the fighters that he got in there, Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis. I'm hearing everything that people that's around and know Crawford for what he's established, the respect, the bar, right, that he's established in boxing. Why people respect him. All of a sudden, Coach L is saying that they should drop him from the rankings. This doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? This doesn't make sense at all. They should drop this man from the rankings. It is somehow, some way criminal for Terrence Crawford to fight David Avanesian, who may have a better record, you know what I'm saying, than some people. I know people are not trying to respect the Russian fighter, but he is a solid fighter. You know what I'm saying? He is a solid fighter. He's not a bum. He's a solid fighter. But you always have to listen because he say, I never liked Terrence Crawford. So this whole rant that you're on, it seems like it's stimulated by your disdain for Crawford over some time now. You know, that's all I'm saying. This man have a right to his own opinion. I never met him, all that. But I just know I've seen people comment on this particular live and who he is, what he said or whatever. And I'm not buying any of it, that it's organic. It's not organic. You know what I'm saying? This is a predetermined way that you feel about Terrence Crawford. And you're not willing to admit it, but it is because you just said it. You never liked him.
I never liked him as a fighter. You know what I mean? You know, I wanted him to fight my man Ray Robinson over here with.
So he wanted him to fight his man Ray Robinson. Okay.
You know what I mean? Ray was the last one beat him in the amateurs. You know what I mean? Ray beat him in the amateurs. You know what I mean? Was the last person I beat him. You You know what I mean? Ray called him out. He kept talking all that shit. Then they turned around and put Mean Machine in front of Ray when Terrence Crawford supposed to 40. Ray whooped his ass because they thought Ray wasn't going to beat him. You know what I mean? Ray ended up whooping his ass. You know what I mean? They called it a draw, which is bullshit. And Mean Machine ain't supposed to got that fight with Terrence Crawford, but then he ended up still getting a fight with Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, that was the
because
WBO final eliminator. You're right.
And Terrence Crawford still wouldn't fight right. You know what I mean?
So Terrence Crawford, this all stems from common opponents. I tell people all the time in the sport of boxing, common opponents is a topic of a conversation all the time. But you have to listen to these individuals that give common opponents. They'll talk about common opponents, and then you will hear the rise and inflection of their voice if it's dealing with who they're talking about, if it's favorable or unfavorable to their fighter. Porter, you hear him talk about Porter one shit, the fight was fake and all that. Why? Because of Terrence Crawford. But when you talk about the common opponent in Igor Kavalauskas, it's a difference between Ray Robinson and Terrence Crawford. Ray Robinson may not have had the slide that he was looking for to be inserted into that position to face Terrence Crawford. Okay, you end up coming up with a draw and you say it's bullshit. What I'm saying is there was two different results in that. You're talking about your fighter. And let me pull this shit up. Let me pull this shit up for y'all right quick. All right. Y'all bear with me right quick. I'm about to show you something. Because boxing talk about common opponents, right? All right. So peep this out. Let me share screen right quick and show y'all something. Y'all hit the like button, man. Appreciate you. Because I'm listening to everything you're saying. All right, coach? Real talk. I'm listening to you, but I just have my response. I've cataloged it. I've digested it, but you know, I'm just looking at it like it's a lot of bias in there. And I know you're protesting for your fighter. Deep down inside, you're protesting for your fighter. I get it, but peep this out right here. So, coach was talking about Ray Robinson's draw with this guy right here, Igor Kavalauskas, 23-2-1, 18 knockouts. Okay, as you can see, he had that tough fight with Virgil Ortiz. What I want to point out here is that Virgil Ortiz, right? He stopped him in the 8th round. It's no scorecards right here. Virgil Ortiz stopped him in the 8th round. Virgil Ortiz stopped Kavalauskas in the 8th round. Okay, right here. Kavalauskas went in there with Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford stopped him in the 9th round. Okay? You have two common themes right here. Virgil Ortiz is a welterweight, Terrence Crawford's a welterweight, right? So both of these guys stopped Igor Kavalauskas in the 8th and the 9th round according to their fight. So if we go to Ray Robinson, all right? Ray Robinson was 24-3 going in here. All right? We already know when Virgil Ortiz stepped in the ring, he was undefeated, right? Ray Robinson stepped in here 24-3, and he went to a draw, a 10-round majority draw. Coach says bullshit. But look at the two judges right here, 95-95, and Kevin Morgan had 95-95. So you're placing the blame on Crawford, right? You're placing the blame on Crawford for not fighting Ray Robinson, who's your guy, who you're reflecting on that beat Terrence Crawford in the amateurs. That's what you're saying. You're reflecting on something that shoulda, coulda happened with Ray Robinson that ended up getting a draw with the guy that ended up stepping in there with Terrence Crawford and didn't make it to the scorecards. And also look at this right here. This is Terrence Crawford's resume, Igis Kavalauskas was 21-0. He was 21-0 heading into that fight. Ray Robinson could have well indeed been the first one to hand him that loss like Terrence Crawford did. He could have been the first, but he wasn't. He went to a draw. You went to a draw. Ray Robinson had his opportunity to go in there and prove a point, and he didn't get it done. So let's go to Ray Robinson, 25-3-2. It's a lot of people that support this guy. I have nothing against Ray Robinson. I'm responding to Coach L's statement. 25-3-2, 13 knockouts. All right. So the Igis Kavalauskas, right? This is a recent interview, y'all. Igis Kavalauskas. We already know that went to a draw, and we already know two judges had 95-95. All right. So this is March 2019. So you go up here 3 months later to June 2019. He faces Josh Kelly. March 2019, June 2019. He faces Josh Kelly and comes up with a majority draw. So let me ask you this. How does this argument that you have, while you calling him, saying it's a sucker move as a fighter, he should be dropped for the rankings, you are advocating and protesting why he didn't fight Ray Robinson, right? But if you look at his resume, the fight that could have propelled him into the ring with Terrence Crawford, he ended up with a draw. Not only that, 3 months later, he go and have another majority draw with Josh Kelly. If you're looking at the criteria and the resume of Ray Robinson, a lot of people love this cat, man. I don't have nothing bad to say. I'm just responding to Coach L's situation. All right? Let's go to where we go. You said Sean Porter fight was a freaking it was a fixed fight or whatever. It wasn't a real fight. But once again, when Ray Robinson had the opportunity to face Sean Porter, he lost a unanimous decision. Right? He lost a unanimous decision against an opponent that you mentioned during the interview. This opponent have to be attached to Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford stopped Sean Porter in the 10th round. So what I'm trying to say is, you said a lot. You said a lot in recent, but you shouldn't have included the criteria that you did because it makes no sense. It makes no sense that you're going to sit up here and say, Terrence Crawford can't do what he want to do right now. The man is at the tail end of his career. You have Floyd Mayweather fighting exhibition fights. He's doing what he want to do. You have plenty of fighters that's doing what they want to do at the end of their career. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to talk about Canelo and Abney Yildirim. You're not going to mention that because that was a fighter that was out of the ring coming off a loss. And he was still inserted into a position where Canelo stepped in there. Were you advocating for Canelo to be removed off the pound-for-pound rankings? Let's go up a little bit more. And this is going to bleed over a little bit to people understanding that when you listen to certain people talk and they're criticizing the hell out of somebody, you just got to do some little research, some digging and shit like that, right? So like I said before, for Ray Robinson, he had the opportunity to disperse of Igis Kavalauskas. He had the opportunity to disperse of Sean Porter. So when Terrence Crawford fought Sean Porter, it'll look even worse. You heard him criticize Sean Porter? Why? Because Ray Robinson lost to him? He went the distance and he lost. But you criticize Sean Porter stepping in there with Terrence Crawford to say that it wasn't even a real fight. Come on, bro. It's two common denominators that you're working with. You know, you're not giving Sean Porter his credit because he beat your boy Ray Robinson. I don't know if y'all have a deeper relationship. Ray is an older fighter right now, like 36 years old, right? So I understand the Philly bond. I get it. But you got to understand, bro, this is boxing, coach. This is boxing. You're up here criticizing two fighters that you want to connect. You want to connect to Sean Porter in a recent interview that's irrelevant to him fighting David Avanesian. You want to connect those because in the past, Sean Porter beat Ray Robinson. And then Ray Robinson won a draw with Igor Kavalauskas. And then you try to make it seem like what Terrence Crawford should have did. No, he shouldn't have. Because Robinson then definitively beat Igor Kavalauskas, who was undefeated, stepping in there with Terrence Crawford. And Terrence stopped him. He stopped him. Not only that, it was irrelevant for you to bring this up. 3 months later, Ray Robinson goes in there and get another majority draw. But I guess Josh Kelly ain't stepping in the ring with Terrence Crawford, so you can't criticize Josh Kelly. But I'm just throwing that out there, Coach. This is what you put out there, bro. This is public record. There ain't no knock on you. Man, but come on, when I hear people talk and they want to embed themselves in a demographic, a boxing footprint, that shit is biased, bro. How in the hell was this a sucker move? How in the hell is anybody in his camp gonna disrespect him or believe he's less than who he say he is or who they believe he is just because he's fighting a Russian fighter? Just because he's fighting a Russian fighter. That shit don't make any sense. None at all. Let's continue a little bit.
So, like I said, everything he's doing, man, that's why he's holding out. What, he 34 years old now?
35.
Yeah, 35 years old. And, basically, they got to give him what he can get right now. Basically, he's just cashing in, man. But you're cashing in the wrong way, champ. Because you got these young bulls, like I said, you got these young bulls over there. And you're going to have, I hope you don't get these young bulls to start doing like you, man, to start, curring like you, man. That's what we call them in Philly. We call them curs. You a cur, champ. You sitting there, you folding, man. A lot of dudes that respect you, take that respect out of there, man. You can't be pound for pound when you ain't fighting nobody. Yeah.
He can't be pound for pound. He ain't fighting nobody. Man, you just got to shake your head, man. While you shake your head, don't put your hand over your ears like we used to do when we was kids. Most of the time when we was kids, we put our hands, in our ears. We close off our ears so we can't hear. It's because something sounded bad. This is one of those moments. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, bro? You want to encourage the young lions because you have young lions in your present. One of those young lions is not Ray Roberts, it's Jaron Ennis. He is going to be there, man. He's going to be there. But shouldn't you be focused that attention on Errol Spence? You big up Errol Spence because Boots is a mandatory, right? So you want to say good face and be in his good graces. You don't want to mess that up. And look, you already said you don't like Terrence Crawford as a fighter, period. So that you landed on thick right now and just drowning out, diluting his accomplishments when we know that's certified. His accomplishments are certified. We can't sit up here and act like Errol Spence separates himself when it comes to resumes. We can't say boxing in general, the entire format doesn't allow fighters to build up their resume off soft seat cushions, ragu. If you're in the boxing gym, then guess what? You already know what I'm talking about, because there's individuals that come in there and spar who are just sparring partners, but they're help building fighters up to get them to that fight that they're training for. Are they world class? No, they're not. Are they a body to beat on? Yeah, they are. And then truth be told, you have a fighter in there in Jaron Ennis who is absolutely a young lion. But let's not get it twisted, Coach. Let's not get it twisted. Let me show you something right quick, Coach. Let me show you something right quick. Let me show you something right quick, Coach. You talking about young lions, right? You talking about Terrence Crawford? You talking about Terrence Crawford? You diluting all his accomplishments and everything. The young lions is going to get their feed. They're going to feast real soon. But speaking of the young lion, right? Let's get this understood right here. You said Terrence Crawford, for taking this fight, he should be removed from the pound for pound. He shouldn't be in the rankings. And plus it's pay-per-view. But we don't know if that pay-per-view is going to happen there, Coach. This is a streaming service that has never put on a fight of this magnitude. It don't matter if it's all over the media. It's never been done. So it's not anything in stone, Coach. The pay-per-view is $39.95. This is not a top rank affair. This is not a Showtime. This is not Golden Boy. This is a newbie. So let me show you. This is Jaron Ennis, right? 29-0, 27 knock. Hey, I'm just reporting. It ain't no bias in me, bro. But I listened to what you said, and I wanted to ask you this question right here, Coach. When Jaron Ennis fought Sergey Lipinets, a former champion at 140 pounds, right? And Jaron went in there, and let's take a gander, right? Let's take a gander. Let's start, somewhere around here, third round stoppage, second round stoppage, Ray Serrano, Franklin, Mamani, you know what I'm saying? Arnatus. I know it's a different situation. I know Jaron was, he was in a situation with Victory Boxing Promotions and Chris Middendorf and all those people. But this is just educational purposes only, bro. Alvarez, third round stoppage. Serrano, second round stoppage. Mamani, first round stoppage. Fernandez, third round stoppage. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stoppage. And Bakhtiarov Yubov, right? Fourth round stoppage. Very short fella, right? 14-1. But when he stepped in here with a brew, he stopped in the sixth round. Hey, that was the longest he's went in a while, right? That was the longest he's went in a while. And then, of course, we had the headbutt that happened with him and Chris Van Heeren. And then we step on up to Sergey Lipinets. Arguably, out of all the names, all these names, all these names, Coach, a fighter has to build himself up to a point to be recognized. He faced Sergey, a former 140-pound division champion who lost to Mikey Garcia. He moved up and went into the 6 rounds with Jaron Ennis, right? Arguably, Sergey Lipinets is Jaron Ennis is his best opponent, his top name, because you mentioned names that Crawford ain't fought nobody, right? And he should be taken off the list from coming off a 10th round stoppage with Sean Porter, right? The same Sean Porter that fought Errol Spence. The same Sean Porter who fought Kell Brook, right? But his common opponents here. So you look at Sergey Lipinets, 6 rounds with Jaron Boots Ennis, and he turns around and fights Thomas Delorme next. Were you up here? Were you up here protesting that Jaron Ennis should be removed out the rankings from fighting Thomas Delorme? This Thomas Delorme, 26-6-1, 17 knockouts. If you look at this, Jamal James lost unanimous decision. Stantionis lost unanimous decision. And then he fights Boots in October. And give it up to Boots. He is that young lion. He is that young lion. He is going to be a future world champion. But he steps in there with Thomas Delorme that had 2 freaking losses. And one of those losses was recent, early that year in 2021. Did you advocate for him to be removed from the rankings, Coach? You have all this criticism for Crawford, but did you advocate for Jaron Ennis to be removed off the rankings fighting Thomas Delorme? He stopped him in the first freaking round. No shit. No shit, bro. He stopped him in the first round. Man, y'all get on here and y'all say, oh, well, I feel this way and this way about this and this, and then it all comes out. I never liked him as a fighter. Well, guess what? Just say that from the beginning. Just say it from the beginning you don't like him. Then we can have a better understanding as to why your tone is the way it is, why your temperature is the way it is, Coach. You know what I'm saying? You can't sit up here and denounce all the achievements that Crawford had like it didn't happen. You have a young lion in there that has all the unlimited potential to be great in boxing, man. You should be giving him the real, but yet you up here faking it. You pump faking it in your response because you don't like Terrence Crawford as a fighter. Not only that, but you're criticizing the Ray Robinson situation when you know damn well you didn't have a leg to stand on in that. You didn't have nothing to stand on because he went to a draw. Not only with Igor Kavalauskas, but he went next with Josh Kelly. Come on, bro. You should have just left that out of the equation. You try to make it seem like Terrence didn't even give Ray Robinson a shot coming off a draw. Neither fighter won. Cool. Neither fighter won. I'm talking about Ray Robinson, Igor Kavalauskas. It was a draw, right? But I guess you're angry because Crawford didn't say, okay, give Ray Robinson a shot. But Ray Robinson already had losses on his record. What if he would have chose Ray Robinson and it didn't work out for him? Would anybody respect that he fought Ray Robinson up to this point in 2022 just because you say so? The man already had losses on his record. So what's the point of including him into the topic? It makes no sense, bro. He would later go on 3 months later and get a draw with Josh Kelly. Man, make it make sense, coach. For real. Make that shit make sense, man. It's no way. It's no way, man. It's no way. You know, you're talking about throwing somebody, that's a little extreme. All I want to do is give you a juxtaposed example of Jaron Ennis, 2 losses for Thomas Delorme, the opponent that he stepped in there with. Come on, man. Come on. We wasn't expecting it to go past 1. He got the job done, but Thomas Delorme was coming off 2 losses, bro. Let's go somewhere else right quick. Let's go somewhere else right quick. Hold on for a second. Let's go to David Avanesian. David Avanesian is 29-3-1. He has 3 losses, bro. He has 3 losses, 1 draw. Now, of course, you know, people are going to look at his resume, right? And they're going to say, man, he ain't fought nobody really. It's been all in, you know, he's a Russian in the UK, Spain. You know, he has a couple of fights in the US. Nobody's really going to pay any attention that, you know, that this is a fighter that they'd rather see outside of Crawford. They're not going to say that. But don't act like this is something that Crawford can't make happen. He can make something like this happen. He's been in the career long enough to make a choice to say, let me fight David Avanesian. What's going on with y'all cats? The motherfucking negotiations was garbage, was trash, man. They wanted the man to fight for a net proceed. But y'all up here talking about, man, he should have just stayed in there. God damn it. You know, this is the point in time where as a black man, all the shit I've heard people criticize us for, you know, this comes down to another point of reckoning. When we just sit there knowing shit is fucked up, we supposed to just sit there and allow it to continue to make us look the worst that we can possibly look. We just stay there. Oh, man, I don't want to move outside this shit. Just stay right there. Just stay right there. Why? Why stay in a situation and on one hand, y'all criticizing him for fighting November of 2021 and he ain't had a fight all year. Wasting fucking time negotiating this shit with Crawford. I mean with Errol Spence, Al Heyman, all this shit, right? Al Heyman, not Errol. Al Heyman. And all these little bits and pieces are coming out about the negotiation not going anywhere. It's in the motherfucking quicksand. It's sinking very fast. And you want somebody on the level of Crawford to just sit there when he's coming in there with least representation than what Spence has? He's not with a promoter, and y'all want him to just sit there and squander an entire calendar year without fighting. But no, hold up. It gets better, y'all. So, Coach, I want to understand this. You say that Crawford was going for the money. So last time I checked, right, boxing is a business. Within business is what? Negotiation. Within negotiations is for what? Money. What's wrong with him going for the bag? If negotiations for Errol Spence, he's going in there for a couple of rows of quarters. We ain't in no motherfucking tribe. How long are you supposed to sit there and wait and wait and wait until something comes about instead of making a motherfucking move? So if it's indeed, this is my next topic though, if it's indeed true, and Mike Coppinger comes up talking about 8 figures, oh, that's damn good. And then the fact that him and David Avanesian signed a contract, oh, that's damn good right there. Because listen, we couldn't get no finalization when it was in all these month-long negotiations over there at PBC. We couldn't get shit to happen. Every time we hear, oh, it's closing, it's looking, it's nearing, looking, closing. All those open-ended words that don't give a shit. So my question, Coach, what would you want him to do if boxing is a business? Would you want him just to stay there and continue to be, drug in the media and a topic which people are sitting up here creating 1,000 scenarios on what could potentially happen from month to month? Do he supposed to sit there? Do that seem intelligent and smart to you? It doesn't to me, Coach. So that's all I'm saying. Him signing the fight for a bag, it was much simpler, easier. What's the point? What's the point? Call it for what it ain't. Real talk. There's extremely a lot of bias going on across the board about boxing being a business and somebody doing business. And he's getting paid higher than what he would have made potentially over there at PBC. But all of a sudden, oh man, he's receiving backlash. He's receiving all this motherfucking backlash for doing business. You're talking about a fighter who had a high guarantee over there at Top Rank. A higher guarantee than a fighter in his stature, in his position, shouldn't have had. And people will mention, well, Bob Arum say he lost enough money to buy a house in Beverly Hills. Well, if a fighter is getting freaking a high guarantee like Crawford, Bob Arum might have lost some money, no doubt. If Crawford wasn't being pushed on the pay-per-view status for the promotion to recoup that money, I'm gonna let that shit ride right here. I said all I need to say on this shit. I said all I need to say on this. I just wanted y'all to understand that. It's a lot of backlashes going on, but this right here, it had too much. It was too busy for me not to talk about it. I don't talk on every topic, but this was too busy for me not to talk about it, bro. I had to explain some things, especially when you brought up the Sean Porter fight being fake, and Ray Robinson should have got the fight when he fought Igor Kavaliauskas and went to a draw. Terrence Crawford didn't pick him. He picked Igor, and oh man, it's just all bad. I never liked him as a fighter. There you go. You should have just said that at your opening statement in the intro, and then we would have had a calmer listening ear as you went on. That's all I'm saying, bro, for real. That's all I'm saying with that shit, bro. Man, this is Hot Grease Chronicles EP 67. You already know. My next topic, man, I'm off that. Shout out to YSM, man. It ain't got nothing to do with you. You keep doing your thing. I support you, But I just had to comment on the response from Coach L. You know what I'm saying? On what he put out there. Now, let's get to the bigger topic, right? Let's get to the situation what everybody's talking about. So, your boy, WCS, I happen to be pretty decent at something, and that is called reading. I can read, all right? Learned that shit a long time ago. So, as I was out here, frolicking around the media, I always tell you all about certain things that come out, certain alert, big news, right? So I go out here and I try to find different outlets to mirror up. So the news has broke that Terrence Crawford, David Avanesian, BLK Prime. So I went out here to ESPN. They talked about it. Welterweight Terrence Crawford to fight David Avanesian on December 10th. So they're talking about it December 10th. Chi Health Center, Omaha, Nebraska. BLK Prime for $39.95. Streaming service told ESPN. Okay. Now listen to what I just said. A spokesperson for the streaming service told ESPN. Now I hear a lot that's going on, right? I hear a lot that's going on with the pretentiousness. that Blue has something to do with facilitating this fight, and it's supposed to be 10 million. Okay. I heard it. Hey, listen. Hey, I got it. Okay. I see all these channels out here, taking that. They gonna say what they want about WCS. It ain't no hate this way. Once again, I want you to understand, I'm just basing my motherfucking opinion off the game that I've been covering, off the sport that I've been covering for quite some time. But the game that's inside this YTC shit and covering boxing is lunacy. So ESPN said a spokesperson. Now, I've read several articles when they cited the actual outlet that did the interview or even said it. Real talk. I've read several mainstream media outlets that will cite the name. They said a spokesperson. They didn't even give the name of the spokesperson. When Mike Coppinger break news, the one that nobody likes to listen to, and he full of shit. Oh, but before he broke the news about Terrence Crawford and freaking David Avanesian, the one that, oh man, he don't know what the fuck he talking about. All of a sudden, Mike Coppinger is adorned. But when I was reading this ESPN article, they said a spokesperson from BOK. I would have liked to know who that person is. You know what I'm saying? This is a big topic. Because you put the name out there, we get to dig a little deeper. But guess what? I already know. And my point for this whole deal, ESPN is talking about this. It's a big deal. 8-figure payday announced by Mike Coppinger. People say it's 10 million. Man, we can't. Oh, man, that's crazy, bro. What if it ain't 10 million? What if that just was an attractive talking point, an attractive way to get people to tune in like we are? What if it's not 10 million, man? What if it's not 10 million? Who take the blunt force of putting this information out and then all the other sheep run with it? What if it's not 10 million? Okay, let's keep going. He said, I'm excited about the opportunity. Crawford said, I was really looking forward to Errol Spence's fight. I started communicating with boxing manager Al Heyman at PBC back in June, and unfortunately, they represent a fighter in Errol Spence who didn't want the fight as bad as I did. And why would Crawford have to lie about this? Why would he have to fabricate? Why would he have to bloviate that Errol Spence didn't want the fight? There's no reason for him to do that. He's already established. Errol Spence is established. Why he need to lie on him? Because wasn't he the one that was defending Errol Spence from the reporter? Terrence Crawford was the one who was defending him from the reporter. They tried to ask that biased leading question, and Terrence defended him. That was professionalism, right? But right here, Crawford is telling it the way it is. Errol Spence didn't want it as bad as I did. It goes on to say, I agreed to all their BS. You read that, right? And they've been dragging their ass for months. Spence was nowhere to be found while I was in there making a deal, Crawford continued. You know the deal. So then, let's go over SB Nation. They spoke on it. Terrence Crawford versus David Avanesian reportedly signed for December 10th on streaming PPV. You go down in the article, and they talk about the $39.95 streaming pay-per-view on BOK Prime. Sources tell ESPN that Crawford would earn a career-high 8-figure payday. Sources. They didn't even mention Mike Coppinger. They just said sources. All right? Boom. They go on and pretty much do fillers and copy and paste and shit like that. So, we go on. Where's the other one? Oh, Boxing Scene. Boxing Scene had it up. ESPN, SB Nation. And that's all that to say this right here, right? The news is broke, but the YTC is up here marching up a high-ass hill. It's steep. And they're marching with the kumbaya and saying that, yeah, Blue had a foot in facilitating this. As you looking, if you listen to the video, where's the video at? I know I didn't remove that video. I think I did. Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. So check this out. Let's listen to some media. And once again, with me, it's all about language, right? Including the words that I speak on too. So my words are up for criticism whenever they feel like it. So check this audio on how Blue expresses his position in this entire deal. Just because you're partners with somebody, that don't mean anything. Let's see documentation. Let's see what the stocks look like. Let's see what the percentage is. You got 0.5, you got 1% in the business. What holds you as a business partner? Do you have any stock? Because it's a lot of relationships that's out here and they have no paperwork. You have no residual way to make income off that particular entity. That's simple relationships. So check this out right here.
And how he got to sign with BOKPrime.com, which happen to be, you guys know, my partners. Now,
Okay, you heard that. My partners. My partners. Okay? What does that mean exactly? What does that mean again? People that you know, you met at the bodega, a 7-Eleven. What does that mean, bro? We need more information. Be professional. Blue, step your game up when you're trying to act like you're changing levels. For real. This is no bullshit. Step your game up, bro. Be more professional. Give details so we can hold you to that. So when it's time to celebrate you for levitating yourself above the YTC community and being a part of something that you say you're a part of, we can go back into details that you mention it. You say, oh, they're my partners. That's not details, bro.
let me enlighten and catch everybody up. Because obviously you guys know I have a partnership with BOK Prime. We are working on this Terrence Crawford fight.
He said, we have a partnership. We're working on the Terrence Crawford fight. I'm going to tell you straight up. I'm going to tell you straight up coming from me. If my name was out here facilitating this fight, I'm talking about, I believe I have a higher than 60% in facilitating this shit. I'm talking about vocally, words exchange, encouragement. I'm going to say it out here on YouTube. It was me. It was me. Yeah, it was me. Me and Crawford had a conversation. It was me. We talked, and then I said, okay, we're going to hold it right here, and we're going to pick back up once I get with my people, and they're going to reach out to you, and we all going to be on a conference call together. You know what I'm saying? We all going to be on a conference call together. That's what I would have said for me. If I'm in a position, I would have put my name out there. Yes, sir, indeed, because I'm within right to do that.
Did I help work on this Terrence Crawford fight? Yes. Terrence Crawford, from the moment, I'm going to give it to you honest and real.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you about when people say I'm going to give it to you honest and real. When people say I'm going to give it to you honest and real, it's fake and faker. I'm just telling you the way it is, man. Look at any type of person that does interrogations and read body language. If you're giving somebody something that you believe is genuine, guess what? You don't have to say that shit honest and real. You're trying to attempt to convince yourself that what you're speaking on is truth when you are fabricating and taking part of distorting the truth. That's all that is, bro.
From the moment it looked like, and us as BOK Prime got the information that the fight may not come to fruition this year between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, and Terrence Crawford wanted to stay active this year.
When was that time? Just let me know, Blue. If you know you want to pull up in the chat and explain it, cool. But I know you're not, and that's a good decision on your part. But when was that time when you knew the fight wasn't going to happen? Because that's what I tell you about the hocus pocus of boxing. They're trying to say, oh, well, this fight was still ongoing. Okay. And then they was talking about how Spence was so quiet. So they saying, oh, man, this shit has been happening for months now. This shit has been happening for months. Okay, give us details. If Terrence Crawford's been in negotiations for David Avenesian for months, why did all of a sudden in Newark, people up here saying that you had an encounter with Crawford in Newark, which was last month? So that doesn't make any sense, because if indeed it was last month, that doesn't sustain months out, like way months ago. That was just last month. How does it all work, man? Just help me understand the evidence, bro. Like, what is the details of when y'all found out Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence wasn't going to happen? Because they've been back and forth with bullshit over the last couple of months in the media, okay? In the media. So explain to me, Blue, like, why people out here, why the sheep are out here saying the same shit. Oh, the 7-Eleven, yeah. Guess what? If the 7-Eleven shit did work and you're going off, you bringing this up, the 7-Eleven, then it absolutely annihilates that as an alibi for making this happen with BLK Prime. People are trying to insinuate that you ran into Crawford over there at Newark to make this fight happen in conversation, when Crawford potentially probably pulled up on you to check your temperature. He wanted to know, just like you said, why you hating on him. But in the meantime, you felt that it'll be a good time to discuss business. And Crawford's going to just sit down on the curve while this girl there and say, hey, man, you know, it's good that we had this talk. Oh, okay, you calm down, man. I was a little afraid, but hey, while you're here, what's going on with that fight? Now, all along, Bomac made it perfectly clear he wasn't going to talk about the fight in an interview. Crawford has made it perfectly clear he wasn't going to go into details about the fight. But all of a sudden, he's going to go in details about a fight that's ongoing that he has denied other people interviews for, right? They're going to go in details with the one and only Blue Blood. I'm not getting the timelines. They're not drawing up conclusions that suffice what we're hearing out here on the YTC. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, we got some people out here that's willing to run with anything. When did you know that Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence wasn't happening? When did you know? When did your people know? Because that's what you're saying. Collectively, y'all found out when this fight wasn't happening. When was that? Because listen, this is the way I read in between the lines. It looks bad if people are trying to insinuate that Crawford was trying to make this deal happen months ago. It's also make people look bad when they're trying to put you in a position of 7-11 chance encounter where all of a sudden it goes from you and Crawford having a contentious conversation, or it might have been a monologue. It might have been one way. He might have had you at position of attention with your thumbs on your trouser seams. You feel me? But somehow, some way, contact was drawn out. Business was drawn out. You know what I'm saying? Offers was thrown out to Crawford to potentially take Plan B and David Avenesian. So if that is indeed the case, all I'm doing is step your game up the next time you come in here and talk about this, and give some dates, bro. Give us some dates, because we want to put this all together also. We want to talk about this as if we have a timeline. This timeline ain't adding up. This wasn't even an active topic. Then Boxing Scene comes out and drops that the fight ain't happening, and all of a sudden, oh man, we getting $39.95 and Crawford and David has signed the contract. Just give us a timeline. Let's continue.
So we reached out. And Terrence Crawford made it abundantly clear to us that his number one objective, no disrespect and spite towards
So Crawford reached out to a group. Now, as many conference calls as I had, right? I'm talking about conference calls down, talking about messages at the Pentagon and conference calls on real world situations, all that. As many conference calls. It's possible to have a conference call because that's his partners, right? That's the people he's in partnership, right? So therefore, it is highly possible to have a conference call. But let's not sit up here and play the fool. Why would he have to have them, THEM, all of them on the phone together? Where's the money coming from? Where's the money coming from? And then, indeed, if you, this is going to get a little bit shaky, y'all. Watch this. Listen to me. If you were on the phone, why it happened? Why didn't you dedicate a live to basically, since the fight has already been signed now, this is no numbers. You don't have to give the numbers. It would have been good if you did because Mike Coppinger said an 8-figure deal. So since you're business partner with the streaming service, BLK Prime, your partnership with them, why is Mike Coppinger dropping an 8-figure deal and you are partners with these people? Why can't you drop it? Why can't you give us more clarification as to what that 8-figure deal is? Why can't you do it? Why is Mike Coppinger? Look, the YouTube community is trying to bridge a gap. Y'all talk about Keith Idek, Mike Coppinger, Dan Raphael, Ioli. You talk about all these guys, Rick Glaser. They all don't know what they're talking about. That's what they say, right? But how many of y'all are trying to bridge the gap so that you can break the news? This is a perfect opportunity for you. Then those are your partners, and they are attached to this fight right here, this huge mega fight all of a sudden. The mega being the payday, right? Y'all attached. Your partners are attached to this. And they know you on YouTube. And your partners. And your partners know that you're on YouTube. And YouTube know that BLK is your partners. And your partners know that you're on YouTube. Why aren't you breaking specific news if y'all was on the phone with this? Blue, man. Why aren't you breaking specifics? Why is Mike Coppinger, who is no way affiliated, he works with ESPN. We're talking about BLK Prime. This is your opportunity to levitate to different type of stars. Not the common theme of people running around here. Hey, man, hey, Blue, he did this. He facilitated. What kind of ghetto type of shit that I want to be involved with people talking about I'm a part of something, but yet I'm not really a part of it. I want to be a part of it by giving you all information that only me and my partners are privy to. Period.
And he was willing to listen to what we had to offer. But his number one objective from the beginning was to fight Errol Spence. Nobody else. Okay? He made it abundantly clear from the very beginning, I need to fight Errol Spence Jr. He even stated, I'm going to fight Errol Spence Jr. because I'm going to whip his ass. Everybody think that I'm going to lose to him. I want to fight Errol Spence. So if that happens to fall through, we can visit the opportunity of giving you guys the opportunity to help me stay busy.
Okay. Crawford might have. He said, hey, "You guys give me the opportunity." Somebody must have put a nice little bag on there, man. Because I know Crawford, business wise, he like, come on, bro, let me do the research, man. Look, I'm telling you what the way I think on people who are on those levels. Crawford's been in the game and did business a lot. So therefore, when you're telling me, right, that he didn't do research on BLK Prime and then money was involved and you all have not put on a fight of this magnitude and those are your partners, how was he satisfied? How did you all placate his sense of thought to be comfortable with saying, you know what? Let's go with them. Was money exchanged? If money was exchanged, why couldn't you give a figure on the money being exchanged? I'm talking to you, Blue, strictly to you, bro. Why couldn't you break the news like Mike Carpenter on this situation instead of having these ghetto type little topics arrive and people running around here like ducks, quack, quack, goose, and saying, hey, he facilitated. No, I don't want nobody using my name to I facilitated anything unless I can come and give you a live on specifics. If I'm on the phone in conversation, I'm going to give specifics to a depth that I don't release anything that's supposed to be confidential. So with what I can do, I'm going to release that information. That's not what we're listening to. This shit like hearsay. This pretty much is not too different than what's already out on the media about him want to fight Errol Spence first. Man, get out of here. We already heard all that. We know Terrence Crawford will fight Errol Spence. Was any money given to Terrence Crawford to lock this in for him to say, okay, y'all are serious? You have no history, just like Errol Spence had no history of pay-per-view numbers heading off the Carlos Ocampo fight until Mikey Garcia. None. What placated and calmed and appeased Terrence Crawford's decision-making to go with BOK Prime? If those are your partners and you was on the phone and all this, you're leaving out some details, brother. You're trying to separate yourself from the YouTube community. You want to go to the next level, right? Answer my question then.
And so, once it got to the twilight hours and Terrence Crawford understood and realized that he was not going to fight Errol Spence this year. So I see people asking me, well, Blue, he had this plan in place. He was already signed to fight David Avanesian. No, he was not. David Avanesian and Terrence Crawford both signed a deal yesterday.
Is that right? Is that right? Now, this video's days old. Not months old, days old, right? So they signed the deal yesterday. So we are to believe that since this deal was signed yesterday, and factoring in the news that we've been presented with over time, that people are now saying, all these outlets are saying that Crawford was in negotiation with David Avanesian months ago. That's what they're putting out there, right? They're putting this information that he was in negotiations and talks all along. So you said something in there that when it came to your partners, you and your partners, and they was like, once the fight wasn't going to happen. So in between a span of like a window, a week, 7 days, 8, how many days was it? Because that was a short period of time with this news breaking that the fight was off. And all of a sudden, the topic of discussion, BOK Prime coming on deck, and he signed the contract yesterday, 30 minutes after the news broke. Right? 30 minutes. 30 minutes. I'm talking about to the T. 30 motherfucking minutes on the time watch. 30 minutes. He signed the contract. I would like to know, along with other people, when was the contract sent? When was the contract sent to Terrence Crawford? When was it sent to David Avanesian? What days? These are your partners, Blue. You have to be specific if we want people like myself to believe you, brother. That's all I'm saying. When was the contract sent to Terrence Crawford and David Avanesian? Because you just told the people that he didn't sign. You know, he hadn't been signed to him. You know what I'm saying? He signed like 30 minutes after the news broke of the fight not happening. So I'm trying to help the people understand. If I'm getting something wrong, when did you send the contract? When did you and your partners, because we know you ain't dealing with the contract. You just a talent acquisition. You're just a talent agent. So the talent agent isn't handling paperwork. We found that to be false because my guy, Brian Norman Jr., he couldn't even get in the ring after coming on YouTube and being supposedly told that he was the face of this particular streaming service. Y'all let him down. But anyway, we know you're not handling the paperwork. So with your partnership, when was the contract sent to Terrence Crawford? That shouldn't be confidential. When was the contract sent, man? The fight's already signed. When was the contract sent to Terrence Crawford? When? When did y'all reach out to him? If those are your partners, let them allow you to be a voice on YouTube instead of having these dum-dums, these quack goose, these sheep run around here in a circle and say, oh, he facilitated. No, don't give me credit for anything unless I really have a hand in this shit. See, that's when clout chasing comes in too. Y'all motherfuckers can't sit up here and talk about clout chasing when it's right before your face, and then you don't want to do anything about it. You don't want to ask the questions. When was the contract sent? When was it suggested for him to fight? When was it presented? It couldn't have been within a 30-minute window that signing the contract that he found out, yeah, y'all have David for me? All right, cool. So since I know that's not the case, when did y'all send the contract? When was the first phone call made? If I'm a part of the conference call, Blue, I know these details. I'm taking notes. Just like Coach Malachi doing his shit, he's taking notes. I love writing shit down, bro. I would write something down before I type it. Just give us the details, brother. Good brother. What day, around about what day, man, did y'all present this? Since he was still in negotiations, when did y'all present this information to Terrence Crawford? When? I'm just curious, bro. When did it all go down? Then, Terrence Crawford, I can't see him just accepting something off one phone call. He has people he needs to speak to. So therefore, when he agreed, when was the contract sent? When was the contract sent? It's a question. What does the contract entails without going in details? You can talk about what it entails. You can give us a much more clearer number than 8 figures. You either believe Mike Coppinger or you don't. Why all of a sudden y'all on the bandwagon, we're running with the 8 figures. Any other thing Mike Coppinger say, and he was on there with Max Kellerman, y'all saying he full of shit, Max Kellerman ain't shit. But y'all same individuals get on here and run with what Mike Coppinger releases. Because why? It sounds good. You know why it sounds good? Because y'all motherfuckers believe you a part of something special. And all I'm saying is, if you believe you're a part of something special, right? And it's a $10 million deal, and you believe Blue has some facilitation process with this, ask the questions that I'm asking then. What's the numbers? I'm asking my partners, listen, you know what I do on YouTube. You know I have supporters that support me. I would like to give a bit more clear details, you know, just to put the listeners within the range of what the numbers actually are. Do you feel that that's good? That'll more so get people tuned in because they have a clearer understanding, not just 8 figures. 8 figures tell WCS nothing. How far does 8 figures in a numeric sense of thinking, how far does it go? How far is the expansion? 11, 12, 13, 15, 17, 20? What are we talking about? The biggest mega deal, 50 million? 50 million? Are we talking 50 million? 99 million? Just give us more clarification as to a ballpark that we can start, get some clarity. That's all. That's all we want. That's all I want. Details. When was the contract sent? What was the numbers in the contract? What was the actual, agreement per fighter without giving out confidentiality? What is it? That's all I'm saying, people. If you got a problem with what I'm asking, all you have to do is just drop, like y'all always do, just drop it in my IG and I go live later on the day. And we can talk this out. I can give you the same energy. I just want to know some questions because y'all running around here putting up all the thumbnails. And believe me, I wouldn't want my name to be attached to something that I can't give the details to. If I'm saying that I'm partners with somebody, then you should give me respect to release information if I have such a big following that's higher than the baker's dozen. So if it's higher than the baker's dozen, then you should have much more authority out here on this social media platform to get the word out to the listeners. I don't hear it. Fuck that, man. The same education you receive as a freshman is not the same education you receive as a sophomore, junior, senior. When you go for your doctorates, that's not the same education you're going to have when you completed your undergrad, your master's. It's going to be different. So all I'm saying is, what are we missing, man? Provide the details, homie. Let me get over here in the live chat. I'm behind, but I had to get this shit out because once I start reading the motherfucking chat, man. Appreciate everyone who pulled up. You know what I'm saying? Mark Nash in the building. Mr. Pass on deck. Unique on deck. My guy Tony Boswell, appreciate the super chat, my guy. $5 super chat on deck. In the building, much respect at World Combat Sports in the chat. Salute to you there, Tony. Don on deck. Expert Genius, what's good? Tony said, sure is funny. Crawford made a fight real easy with David. I think they fight doesn't happen, or they have trying to age Crawford out, and that's a duck in my opinion. Yeah, it's a duck, just like Max Kellerman said for freaking Team Spence, if that's indeed the case. Because why would Crawford identify the fighter as not really wanting to fight? He's not signed to Al Heyman. He's not held to a contractual standard not to say anything bad about him in the public. Crawford's not held to that standard. Crawford didn't sign with Al Heyman. His business is thorough. His business is thorough, bro. He didn't sign with this guy. He didn't sign a multi-fight deal with this guy. He was trying to pretty much check off every box that they want. And then, to the way he was putting it out there, Crawford, is that it always came up with some other obstacles. He checked the box on that. It was something else he didn't do. It was something else. Blunt said, in my opinion, they are two incomparable. The two are incomparable. Boots is a totally different stage in his career than Crawford. And Crawford's a former undisputed champion, current champion, involved in the biggest fight. I know what you're getting at in reference to Coach. I agree. Boots has such an unlimited potential in his career. He's more than likely going to be a champion at 47, 54, 60, and 68. And according to how long he stayed in the game, because he's a big guy, Boots is only like 23 years old, bro. He might even end his career as a five-weight champion, bro. 47, 54, 60, 68, 75. He's 23. 23 years old, and he's a big fighter. Good point. Boots is supposed to be adding names to his resume to put him in a position to fight for a belt, whereas Crawford is supposed to be giving the fans the biggest fight in boxing. Just my opinion. Well, if Crawford's supposed to be doing this at the end of his career, then guess what? Why don't every boxer give themselves the biggest fight of their career? Why don't every boxer has a book out telling the business of boxing? Because it's not a single entity. There's many layers to doing business and negotiations with certain people to make fights happen. Guess what? It ain't that easy, brother. It's not that easy. It sounds good. You read it, it looks good. But in the process of business, when it comes to boxing, boxing does not have a single bubble. It's branches, like I put everywhere. It's branches bearing fruit in boxing everywhere you can imagine. And just because these branches over here to the left are bearing fruit and this sweet fruit over here doesn't mean the fruit is sweeter on the right, on the other side. The fruit don't taste the same. You know, everybody's been talking about on the left side than do on the right side. The fruit that people have access to at the bottom of the tree doesn't mean the fruit at the top is going to be any better. It's a lot to unpack when it comes to doing business. So when you say he's supposed to be fighting the best, what is he supposed to do? Go up under there with shackles on both ankles, bracelets on both wrists, a neck brace attached to his goddamn shackles on his ankles? He's supposed to be bent over? It's supposed to be a method of torture, mental torture, psychological torture, just to go into a fight and get paid what you're worth? I don't think so, Shawty. I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. Espinosa allegedly said they don't know where the net shit come from, allegedly, but had $1 million guaranteed for Spence. If they had $1 million guaranteed for Spence, well, it only makes sense that Crawford was getting absolutely nothing, because people need to understand that Errol Spence has people he needs to pay too. Shout out to the Expert Genius, $2 super chat, man. Appreciate you, brother. Was Bud chasing dollars when he took 35% of the revenue? Hey, man, good point. Good point. Good point. Because peep this out. That's a genius answer. You know what I'm saying? It's a genius answer. And it seems like an expert was doing the process, the troubleshooting in that. The man said, you know what? The agreement is going to be 35%. He settled. He settled for less. He settled. When I was telling you all the 60-40 thumbnail, I told you all they was trying to give him lower amount. But they were saying, hey, Bud should just take 40%. They wasn't offering him no 40%. They wasn't offering. What did my thumbnail say? On his terms. I try to tell the people, but they think you got to have a lot of people in your chat listening for verification. No, you just got to have the intelligent ones. You just have to have the ones that understand what you're talking about listening. You don't have to have a whole lot of other people that's sitting there, goddamn scratching themselves and shit, picking their nose, goddamn sucking down a goddamn Twinkie and a ding dong, a ho ho. No, you just have the smart ones on deck, man. I don't understand 1 minute Crawford versus Spence Jr. is a mega fight. Then it isn't undisputed at the welterweight division is the cream of boxing, especially with the two people who were fighting. Stephen came out yesterday on Twitter and said he hears the rumors of 35% in the net, and he's looking at the contracts thinking how the fuck they come up. So if that's indeed the case, they're blunts, then I will ask you to also find out, okay, from Espinosa, somebody need to ask this question. If that is indeed untrue with the hocus pocus of boxing, well, what is the truth? What's the real numbers? Because it's not just being reported on YouTube. It's all over the place. There's 65-35. So what are the real shit then? Why continue to puppetize the listeners and the audience? Why continue to puppetize them then? I don't give a damn what Espinosa's talking about if it's all over the media. If it's not true, then at that moment, why don't he present us with something that's more clear, more lucid to us to understand? Clean it up for us. Not for us to continue to go around here scrambling around and shit, trying to figure this shit out. That's exactly what I said about the BLK shit. Stop talking in circles. Stop giving us an overlay No. If you want to separate yourself as being the so-called source, have details. Those details don't have to go all the way through to the core and release confidential shit. No, give us the details of what's being spoken on. If it's 10 motherfucking million, where did you get that at? If it's nobody to substantiate that and we can work with the 8 figures, give us a roundabout on what the 8 figures are. What range, what numeric range, what monetary range are we talking about? No, bro. I'm just talking. What's going on, Shaw News and Sauce Experience? AKA Showtime Shaw. What's good with it? Now, Coach was on some personal shit. He said he didn't like Crawford as a fighter. No doubt. People not gonna understand where I'm going with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get it. You know what I'm saying? I felt I was in my right to justify, like, you're not being genuine, bro. If you was being genuine off his actions, okay, cool. I can accept that. But when you say you never liked him as a fighter, now it all makes sense. And then when you said the Sean Porter fight was what it was fake, then I understand why you say what you say. Because Ray Robinson lost to Sean Porter. So since Sean Porter's attached to Terrence Crawford, you got a problem with it. You may indeed like Errol Spence than Terrence Crawford. But the fact that he stopped Sean Porter and Errol Spence, which may be one of your favorite fighters to stay in good graces because y'all would like Jaron Ennis to fight him, you're not going to speak on it. But you're going to say the man stepped in there and it was a fixed fight. I mean, not a fixed fight. It wasn't real. Man, come on, bro. And I heard today that allegedly Bernie the Boxer said Bud was fighting in November 2 months ago. Bernie said Bud was fighting in November on his live. That's indeed true. I mean, people can go back and check out the live. That's why I'm saying, listen, Bernie said that shit in November, right? But we have to tie all this shit together. We have to tie it all together. Fuck what you hear on YTC all the time and who's popular and who ain't. I'm telling you off what I've read and what I'm doing as far as the process of elimination. I'm filtering through the bullshit. How long was these negotiations going on with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence? We kind of got an idea. But what we don't have an idea is where it gets cloudy at. It becomes muggy. It becomes very freaking muggy. And the reason why I say that, when did negotiations sever? When did it cease? Then when did the phone call, when was that made? When was the conversation made to present Avanesian? Because I'm hearing, it's no way that he was talking about this, in the process of when he was negotiating with Spence. Okay, if that's indeed the case, and it didn't happen until negotiations were severed, how did the process work? That's your partnership. Explain to us how the shit worked, bro. What was said? If you're using those 2-letter words, right? We, us, you are associating yourself with these people that has all the information. So therefore, if I'm holding a we and us position, it's information that I should know to be able to tell my listeners. Not this overlay bullshit. No, give us clarification that Mike Carpenter can't give us. You know why? Because Mike Carpenter isn't attached to BLK Prime. Salute, Willie. What's good? Crawford pressed him in Newark. What's going pop on deck? They were saying Bud could fight someone else since after the Porter fight. Spence Mice just didn't believe he had something else real on the table. I want to know when he had this offer with David Avanesian on the table. I want to know when the phone call or the conversation went out to him during these negotiations to have a plan B option. When did the paperwork go out? If they signed 30 minutes, exactly now, this is almost like telling you again, the 8-figure shit, the nearing closing looking. None of this shit defines anything. It's no certainty to it. We have to do better when you want to sit up here and parade around our popularity and do pirouettes in this bitch have details. If I'm a partner of anybody, I'm going to have details, goddammit. I'm going to have details. I got to. If something of this magnitude and you're placing yourself as an affiliate or a partnership, then guess what? Give me some leeway. God damn it, I'm a grown-ass man. Give me some leeway. Look at my platform. I got this, right? All right, what can I tell the people that's to clear up some questions? No, I'm not with Mike Carpenter, bro. So my shit is going to be much more lucid than what Mike Carpenter is saying. Mike Carpenter said 8 figures. No, I'm going to give you a range. Hey, Dez. I need the green light, bro, just to give him a little bit more clarification as to the range of numbers. What can I tell him? Is it okay for me to kind of give him a date when we start talking? No, that'll kind of interfere. If we tell him the real, that, keep it confident. All right, cool. But 30 minutes after the news was announced, man, I ain't buying that shit. Trap on deck, what's good? I can't believe people believe this shit. He talking about I'm gonna keep it honest and real and reach out with no disrespect to us, the cap. LOL, he disrespect Blue. He disrespects Blue all the time. Who? Let me see. Real Bud reached out with no disrespect to us. That's cap. He disrespects Blue all the time. How Crawford team go from calling Blue a dick rod and clickbaiter to going to him for a deal. Hey man, we don't know what the conversation was. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what the conversation was. We don't know. We don't know what the conversation was. We don't know who was spoken to. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something that's absolutely 100% true. I can tell you Crawford speaking to someone to be okay, it wasn't Blue. That's fact. He wasn't doing no business with Blue. He wasn't doing no business with Blue. That's a fact. Let's not be stupid. Let's not act like we all stupid here. He wasn't. Make it make sense. I got receipts showing he switched up on Bud. I got receipts on my channel showing Crawford team and fuck with Blue. Now suddenly he's the magic man. That's all I'm saying, bro. That's what you know. You know what I'm saying? That's what you know, man. That's what you know. YTC is a circus. Just a bunch of gossiping clickbaiters. Hey, man, you can't sit up here and listen to the live and saying I ain't making no solid points. I am, bro. Real talk. I'm making some solid points, and it's up to the people to be receptive and do their own research. If you don't want to give me credit for asking the questions, then don't. Do your motherfucking live and ask yourself the questions and have your listeners figure it out. That's all you got to do. If you want a different audience and you don't want my audience to grow outside the baker's dozen, goddammit, then guess what? Do a live on your own shit and ask the same questions to your people that I ask. When did it all happen? Give us a closer range of the numbers. What was the conversation like initially to present this grand offer to Terrence Bud Crawford? Brian Norman Jr. said they ain't got no money for him. How they got it for Bud? Hey. Didn't they say the same shit when that $100 million deal came out for Mar Charlo and Errol Spence? You don't have money for Terrence and freaking Errol, but you got $100 million for Maul and Errol to face Canelo. I guess the investors, they only have a certain budget, you know what I'm saying, for certain names. So that might be the case. The investors might have a certain budget by the certain names. Blue trying to act like he know, because if they find out he don't know, then his reputation take a hit. Nigga ego gonna be the death of him. I already told y'all about his ego. He has to stay on here, and if it consists of him being dishonest, he would be dishonest. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He'd be dishonest about it. He'd create a narrative of fictitious content and criteria to build up this fantasy world for people to lean into. And then you got grown ass men that have their own channel. The grown ass men, right? They have their own channel and they'll listen to this shit. And whether instead of them, processing it, right, and really thinking it through, they'll sit up here. Oh man, yeah, let's go. You right. Because we remember the Brian Norman shit, but they don't know what happened with the Brian Norman shit. It was good for motherfucking TV, but I know what I know. I'm down here in the A. I know what I know. They let the man down. They didn't get in the fights. What happened with Brian Norman? All of a sudden, you're not on here apologizing for that shit falling through, Blue. You're not sitting up here taking ownership. You the one paraded that man around here, bro. He couldn't even get fights. His shit falling out. But all of a sudden, you're going to come back and say, oh, it's not all about that. It's all about a fighter who I was sitting up here talking about Errol Spencer beat, and I don't have no confidence. All of a sudden, you want to advocate for him? And these clowns are following suit? Niggas posting shit on IG up here acting like they're a part of something special, bro. Come on. The fight hasn't even happened yet. Look, if you want to convince me of something, I'm going to be honest with you. Convince me of this shit right here. When the goddamn promo started to happen with, because it's enough time, right? This is October. They supposed to be fighting in December. Whatever the promo is next month, all you have to do is be right there on stage. Those are your motherfucking partners, man. All you have to do is be there on stage when the camera's rolling. All you have to do is be the one interviewing Terrence Bud Crawford. Say, Terrence, hey, it's good that we meet under different circumstances this time. In light of all the news that have taken place, it has been a whirlwind. But I'm not going to lie to you. It's my pleasure. I'm happy that you allowed me to get this interview. Now that you and Errol Spence are no longer a topic, let's talk about your fight with David Avanesian. It's a lot of questions out here there, Terrence Crawford. But being that you know who I am, I have to ask you this first question. What was your thought process when the news and an offer was presented to you? You know what I'm saying? And can you give a little bit more depth clarification now that the fight is it's near and by? How did that process work? Who presented the information to you? Terrence will go into detail. I mean, there's no need for him to hide it. If Blue has some facilitation, he's going to recognize that Blue has some facilitation. He's going to nip all of what I said. He's going to erase all that doubt. He's going to erase all the doubt. He will. So pretty much, the conversation you and I had, you know what I'm saying, which, led to my partners getting with you and us discussing this situation. Now, this is big because it seemed like when you was negotiating with PBC, you was unable to come up with a solid number for a fight of that magnitude. But from what the people know right now and what was released out to the media, you are due to receive something about which is 8 figures, right? Speak on that, because 8 figures is huge for a fight, a title fight for your belt against a Russian fighter like David Avanesian that's really not on the status of Errol Spence, but he's stepping in the square with you. How does that make you feel, being that BLK was able to get you the money like that, first of all, because boxing is a business, but tell the people how you feel about that. If Terrence Crawford is going to give any freaking respect or any type of cosign, that'll be it. He say, first of all, I want to say thank you for y'all and reaching out. And remember, I put this out there now. I thank y'all. Real talk. Y'all, we talked on the phone. If My fault. That shit dropped off. Janky Promotion. Russell Red. Jelly Roll Entertainment. We get deals if you got skills. Blue Lie right now. Spitting cigar smoke. Spit on the porch again. Hey, check this out. He said exactly. They literally hear Blue shout out BLK Prime when they hear it when Bud name is brought up, and they put two together like he connected. How people are brainwashed and it's beyond me. Now let's get the understanding right. Once again, let's get some understanding. This is how it has to go down. There's no options, y'all. We live in a world where you hear terms like fake it till you make it. You know what I'm saying? Fake it till you make it. Now, if this has any merit to it, all that has to happen is when they link up, it's just what I said. When they have a presser, Blue being the YTC media guy, if they deem him the lead to do the interviews, they're partnerships. There should be no option. Remember, I told you that. No option, bro. No option. We ain't playing games. When they do the presser, the only person that should be interviewing from BLK Prime is Blue Blood Sports, period. There's no options. This is time. This is him having the opportunity to change levels. He should have a conversation with Terrence Crawford to clear up everything that I have doubt. Real talk. He should be able to clear up everything. How you doing, champ? It's good to see you on this occasion. You know what I'm saying? On the better terms. Now, we all understood how it played out in the media, and you and Errol Spence negotiations fell through. At that point in time, BLK was able to pick it up. This is what I want you to explain to the fans. Like, what was that like? You know, them reaching out. You know, my partnership reaching out to you. How did that process work now that the fight is signed and you're about to step in the ring with David Avanesian? Explain. And then, boom, he explains, okay, now with that said, are you satisfied? Opposite of what we heard with your negotiation process with PBC, you know, taking a net profit, knowing that it was going to be a pretty lowball offer. How do you feel about making this much money? And, you know, and me and my partnership with BLK Prime, we made this happen. I would just like to hear your words. What is your thoughts on that? Boom, Crawford give you his thoughts. He said, hey, first of all, I'd like to thank you and BLK Prime for making this happen. Make this happen. It's all a success. That will clear up everything, period. That will clear up everything that I put out here and had doubt about. That'll clear it up. Right now, you're not going to get that from me. So therefore, he continued to, you know, do the interview. Crawford, you know, tell the people it was good. To be getting paid, you know, stepping back in the ring before the year end. I'm happy to continue, you know, the fight in front of my fans that's in Omaha, my home soil, my footprint. You know what I'm saying? Omaha, Nebraska, once again bringing a big fight to my home backyard. You know, he get the primary interview. And then after Crawford leaves and shut it down, he had somebody hold his damn phone. And he turned and say, see, I am who I say they is. I'm him. I told you all I was that. Everything I was telling you, this, and this. You know how you do it. I told you this. I'm not going off the storytelling shit right now, bro. It has to go down just the way I just mentioned. You have to be the one up there interviewing, doing the presser. You have to. First of all, above all else, this shit has to go down, first of all. I'm telling you, if this shit don't go down, brother, it's going to be worse. Not only can Brian Norman couldn't get a fight, and he had a couple of fights fall out. The word is out, bro. You brought my man on here, and he couldn't even get in the ring. 22-0, undefeated, bro. $22-0. You couldn't get him in the ring. We're not talking about 3-division, formerly undisputed world champion. We're not talking about that. We're talking about you said that this man was going to be the face of BLK Prime and you can't get him in the ring. Now all of a sudden, you're out here telling people that we, us, is responsible for brokering and responsible for facilitating a deal of this magnitude of 8 figures. Okay, I got it. BLK is owned by EFC Wealth Management. I refuse to believe Blue had anything to do with this. Talk to him, man, and give it up the blunts. He did drop them gems, you know what I'm saying, about who they are owned by. You know what I'm saying? With pictures. You feel me? With pictures. Okay. He said, Steven said multiple times yesterday, he can't say too much because he ain't trying to make headlines. Espinosa is an attorney. He wasn't trying to give away too much information. Okay. Let me go back up here. Let me go over here right quick. Take care of something. Let me go take care of something. Let me see how did this play out. Hold on for a second. Let me check this out. Let me. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Let me hook you up. I'm not even going to say your name because you ain't worth it. But there you go. I give you what you want. He ain't saying us and we now, OG. He online being specific now. Talking about his partner signed Bud. First, it was we signed Bud. God damn it, Blunts. Man, man, look, they don't want to pay attention to what I be trying to tell them about this dude. They ain't trying to listen to us, man. Look, me and Shaw News been talking about, you know, this dude for the longest of time, man, how he is, his ego and shit, man. Look, I can confirm this, like I said before. Showtime is making better moves than he is in the game. They're actually in the fighters meeting. You know what I'm saying? They're actually doing deals. You know, Jahaz signed with Jay Prince something that a process that Showtime had to do with. The administrative logistics, he had a big part in making that happen. The rest is history, baby. The rest is history. 9-0 in the game. You know what I'm saying? Who else has did that? What fighters have Blue signed? Who has he been a part of? Which fighters he associated with? I see more fighters distancing themselves from this dude off his storytelling collection than the facts he's actually putting out, especially dealing with this shit right here. So you trying to tell me the owners ain't speaking out about this shit? You're going to take credit with the owners like BLK being owned by somebody else. So now we have 2 entities. So now we can assume, but we don't know for sure where the investment is coming in as far as this millions. And we're talking about black people, black ownership supposedly, right? So I'm telling from being a black person in general, are we willing to put forth the entire effort, 8 figures, knowing that we're not going to get any of it back as black people, black owners, black businesses? And business don't work like that. Where and how are they recouping this money? Are they just going to get it for publicity? Because I'm going to give you an example who already did that shit. You ready? Trilla's did it already. Trilla's been in the game for quite some time in the music industry. They came in boxing and they put the money up. You see, they've calmed down. They've calmed down. They put themselves out there, but they've calmed down. You know how much money they probably spent in the Teofimo George Kambosos delays? Millions. They blew it. They blew their money, and they blew making the fight. But what I'm trying to say is they had the money. They came in, even then, with all the money they got, with the owner being a billionaire. He ain't trying to continue to lose money like that. He's not trying to do that. He's not trying to do that. Well, that's all I wanted to talk about with this situation, bro. I said what I had to say. You know what I'm saying? You know, I put this shit out here a long time ago. People didn't want to listen. You know what I'm saying? People didn't want to listen, man. People didn't want to listen to all the damn thumbnails I was putting out there. I put the fake news thumbnails out there. I told you that fight. I told you. Believe what you want. I told you. I told you, bro. I told you what it was. This tells it all right there. I told you what it was, man. I put it out there. I put it out there, bro. But man, that's all I got on this subject. I'm not gonna keep it up too long. I'm not gonna talk on this for too long because why? Because they have to go up here and discuss what I just said. You know what I'm saying? They have to go in there and discuss it. It doesn't matter how many channels out here who are attached to each other and want to carry the same narrative. You're gonna listen to what I have to say, and you're gonna question whether it's right or wrong. And if you consider it to be wrong, but you choose not to take any action moving forward, then guess what? That's just who you are as a person. You don't have any integrity either. You don't have any integrity either. You have none. Because you're unwilling to step up and question how deep does this go with his affiliation to BLK Prime? How much of an influence or position that he had in this fight? It's a difference between helping people understand that a dream is free. A dream is free. But a lie gonna cost you. You can dream all day long. A dream is free. You can sit up here and look up at the sky and dream. A dream is free, bro. But a lie is gonna cost you. A lie is gonna cost you, especially when it comes to people having the opportunity to think for themselves and say, you know what? He might be right, man. Let's do a little bit more research into this. He said, have y'all heard Team Crawford come out and say we didn't have a meeting? No, we haven't heard that. That doesn't mean anything. Like I say, you and him might have had a meeting. But don't pretend like the meeting was a business meeting outside of Crawford pulling up and checking your temperature. Of all the what he, he probably looked at Big Blunt's video and said, oh, okay, shit. Hey, you seen this right here, champ? Look at this right here. Yeah. He used to support you heavy. It seemed like he supported you heavy back then, bro. We just trying to find out where did it come to a point of when he drew the demarcation line to begin to betray you. When he turned his back on you and started to betray you and pretend like he believed that Errol Spence was a better fighter than you were. That's what we want to know, champ. Maybe when you get to Newark, you might want to meet him at 7-Eleven because from what we heard, he's going to be camping out in the same villa as you, champ. Because them super chats, they paying him nice. So he's going to get the suite. And, all you got to do is just, when you see him go out, just walk in the same direction. And then y'all going to have that moment. The YouTube community believe it? Come on, champ. That's the best. That's a fact. The seed is planted. The ones woke will realize what was said by you on this live, man. That's all I'm trying to say, Showtime. You know what I'm saying? At least when you say, speak on something that's going on with boxing, you know what I'm saying? The itinerary, the information that's on the itinerary, the shit is merited, is validated, is substantiated. It's not hearsay or someone creating a freaking narrative or pushing a false ass narrative. You know what I'm saying? No, none of that. That shit is real, authentic. Blue in defense mode. I got a little bit of the Stephen F. Finosa audio uploaded also. Yeah, go check out the video. I couldn't watch the entire video because I was going live, man, but I'm going to check it out once I'm done. So, you know, hey, drop that link to your video in the chat. That new video you just did. You know, I just looked at the first part. It seems like a screen record of the conversation. But come on, man. We have to ask ourselves again. If he's not identifying the 35%, if he's not identifying the 35%, man, and people, he trying to insinuate, I don't know nothing about that. What is that about? I don't know nothing about no 35%. The net, where did the net come from? Okay, if once again we're at a magic show and there's no 35% and Crawford wasn't getting any net, well, what the fuck? How did the news come out then? And why are these people reporting on it that call themselves so close to the PBC? Ask them that question. Why are you reporting on information that's out here if Espinosa is so-called having a meeting once again, the same person that said what? The fight date isn't dead yet. We had the hopes of fighting November, but the fight date isn't dead yet. He said the fight date isn't dead yet. Then all of a sudden, the fight falls out. So you had to have the fight date locked in with a venue. You just can't have the fight date locked in with no venue because you're not going to be able to lock in the venue. You have to have that shit scheduled too. So if they still have a November date, we're waiting on who's going to fill that slot. Who are we going to see fight? Is it going to be Errol Spence versus somebody? Is it going to be Maul Charlo? Who's going to fill that slot? Hey, but man, I'll be back on here later. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be covering this UFC 280. It's a burner. You know what I'm saying? It's a motherfucking burner. Real talk. It's a burner. I like it. UFC 280 is going down, man. It's going down. You got my guy Charles Oliveira that's been through it and proven as a champion now after Khabib Nurmagomedov retired. He's going to be the main event, man. He going in there against the rising phenomenal Islam Makhachev. You know, Makhachev. He's been up here killing motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Out of his last 12, out of the 12 fights period, right? Let's just say the 12 fights period. Yeah, he's been in the UFC. Only 4 of those fights have went to the decision. 8 have been by stoppage, punishes, freaking submissions, all that shit. Islam is supposed to be the guy. We're going to see if he's the guy against Charles Oliveira. Real talk. The Brazilian. You know what I'm saying? Let's stay. And then, you know, they got a heavy one. You know how the UFC do it. You know how Bellator. You know how MMA is coming. We got a blazing co-main event, man. Funk Master himself, Aljamain Sterling, the legitimate bona fide reigning defending bantamweight 135-pound champion, is going in there against a previous 135-pound bantamweight world champion and TJ Dillashaw. TJ Dillashaw, hey, I'm going to talk about this shit later. He had his ups and downs. He had his high points, his low points. Same TJ Dillashaw went down there and tried to attempt to fight Henry Cejudo, who they was trying to move out of the 125-pound division. He went down there and faced Triple C and got knocked out. Not only did he get knocked out, he was suspended for EPO. He had like a 2-year suspension. Oh, my God. It don't get any worse than that. This man went down to fight a champion who priced himself out. They say Henry Cejudo priced himself out of moving up the bantamweight division to get the big fight and, you know, become champ with TJ. So they said, hey, TJ, we're going to offer you to move down there and clean this motherfucker out. So he was supposed to go down there and fight Henry Cejudo. He got knocked out. Then he tested positive for EPO and he was suspended. Oh, that's a tough road right there. And then, look, you got the guy who Aljamain Sterling beat, Peter Yan, going in there against the rising, another riser. I can't call him a phenom yet, but he's on his shit. Sean O'Malley, the colorful Sean O'Malley, man. He's going to be right before the co-main event, man. Real talk. This is going to be wild. Peter Yan has been bantamweight champion before. Sean O'Malley is looking for that slot. Real talk. You got the tall Sean O'Malley against a proven striker and Peter Yan. Aljamain has the bragging rights after people say he faked the loss from being hit with an illegal knee while grounded. He came back and he dominated Peter Yan. You know what I'm saying? So that's as far as I'm going with the UFC card. I'll be back on to talk that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'll be back on to talk that shit, man. But, man, I'm out. Appreciate everyone for pulling up. Y'all continue to support the channel, man. Hit the like button. Just don't hear me say it and don't do it, man. You got to hit the like button, man. Share the content. Pass the word. You already know what it is. You know, pass the word over there to Blue. You know what I'm saying? He already know what it is, bro. Have a conversation. Do better. Step your game up. You know what I'm saying? Be better than the man's, you know, Showtime. Be better than him, man, because he's making big moves in boxing. Look, I know his moves are certified. I know his moves that he's making in boxing, who he's connected to and communicate with, are legitimate. I can't make that connection with you, brother. You know what I'm saying? I can't make that connection. So you need to step your game up, man. It takes more than freaking bomb-ass 7-Eleven champagne and goddamn tree bark cigars and shit. You know what I'm saying? It takes more than that. It takes more than doing a live in response to what I'm talking about. You're going to have to come with it, bro.